Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister for Information and his able deputy, the Coordinating Director of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, and directors of the ministry. I acknowledge any directors from the Ministry of Information. Also, I see here Mr. Kweku Sechiado. Acknowledge members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for meeting with us this afternoon here. I know Sundays are for rest, but you've taken time out of the one day that you are allowed to rest to come here because of this very important matter. Since the Russian Federation and Belarus started military operations in Ukraine on the 24th of February 2022, hundreds of lives have been lost through bombardments. Normal life in Ukraine has also been disrupted for the rest of its citizens, including for those of our compatriots living in Ukraine. The government of Ghana remains concerned for the safety and security of our people currently in Ukraine. As you will recall, Ghana, in her capacity as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, had supported calls and efforts to dissuade the Russian Federation from using force to address what it said were its security concerns related to the NATO expansion. We encouraged dialogue and peaceful resolution of the differences between Russia and other parties. We also warned of the humanitarian consequences of any conflict. With the security and safety of our compatriots in mind, we actively monitored the massing of over 100,000 Russian and Belarusian troops on the borders of Ukraine. Like the rest of the world, we accepted the word of Russia that they would or they did not intend to attack Ukraine. On the 24th of February 2022, we were stunned by news of the bombardment and invasion of Ukraine by the Russian Federation. I would like to state at the outset that Ghana will continue to unreservedly condemn this unprovoked attack on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of a United Nations member state, and we call on the withdrawal of Russia and the end of the war. We also would like to state that Russia bears responsibility for the security and safety of our citizens, Ghanaian citizens, and we call on her leadership to respect humanitarian law. Government is determined to ensure the security and safety of all our citizens in Ukraine. The ongoing military operations have put the lives of our compatriots in danger, and we have called on Russia to end the war and withdraw. Members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's interest in Ukraine. Relations between our two countries have been steady, and in 2021, the government of Ghana granted approval to the Ukrainian government to establish a resident diplomatic mission in Ghana in accordance with Article 2 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961. The economic and trade ties between our two countries, with major exports from Ghana, including manganese, aluminum ore, and cocoa powder, whereas there are major imports into Ghana from Ukraine, including iron bars and cold-rolled iron. Practical steps were underway to further enhance our relations. However, the current crisis is bound to affect, for now at least, any meaningful strategic outcomes. Effects of the crisis on Ghanaian nationals in Ukraine. Following the attacks on Ukraine, the latter closed its airspace to civilian flights. The country is considered a high risk to flight safety due to the use of weaponry and military equipment. Also, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency has warned the risk in flying in the airspace near to Ukraine's border, including Russia. Ghanaian students, like all foreigners, including our compatriots in Ukraine, have therefore found themselves in a very precarious situation. Consequently, based on the overall objective of government to ensure the safety of our citizens in the ongoing crisis, directives were immediately issued to 5 of our relevant diplomatic missions in Europe, as well as our honorary consulate in. Let me state categorically that although most of the students went there on their own, government has a responsibility to all of them to ensure their safety, and that we will do. Following the closure of Ukrainian airspace, it had become a challenge to airlift our compatriots from Kyiv and other parts of the country, thus leaving the only viable option of evacuation by land to neighboring countries such as Moldova, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Hungary, and the Czech Republic. Consequently, my ministry, collaborated with the Ghana diplomatic missions in Bern, Switzerland, Prague, Czech Republic, Ankara in Turkey, and the Vatican, Holy See, and also Ghana's honorary consuls in Ukraine, Hungary, Romania, as well as Ghanaian communities and student unions in Poland, Hungary, and Romania to facilitate the evacuation of our nationals after being conveyed from Ukraine by road to the closest borders of the European countries mentioned earlier. May I therefore add that information received indicates that there are still 3 cities in Ukraine where students cannot be evacuated from due to the high-risk situation identified there, as reported by our honorary consul. These cities are Kharkov, the hotspots on the way, Sumy, also hotspots on the way, and Dnipropetrovsk, which is experiencing a complete lockdown. Another challenge which our compatriots are faced with is the fear of crossing at borders close to Russia for obvious reasons. We had requested our diplomatic mission in Moscow to assist with their passage, as it will be unreasonable and dangerous to now start looking for another border to access. Unfortunately, there are reports of incursions at the border called Sumy, which has posed a challenge for about 85 of our compatriots who sought to exit that side of Ukraine into Russia. I'm not saying that they have been attacked or anything. It's just that the situation there makes it quite difficult for them to cross. Steps taken. Ladies and gentlemen, we can confirm that an unknown number of Ghanaian students are reported to have left Ukraine a week or so ago following our Bern mission's advice as the situation was getting dire. Many of them are back here at home in Ghana. So they left early before the situation got very bad. The Ghana mission to Ben issued the statement below, which is also available on our Twitter handle. And I quote, "The government of Ghana has noted with grave concern the security and safety of our nationals, including the over 1,000 students in Ukraine following the Russian military operations across in that country. We urge our nationals to limit their movements in public places as they obtain adequate essential goods and remain in their homes or move to government places of shelter. Please be assured that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, as well as this diplomatic mission, and also our honorary consul, are all directly engaged with the relevant authorities in Ukraine to ensure your safety and security." End of quote. Furthermore, officials of the ministry held a meeting with the leadership of the Ghana and Ukrainian nukes to brainstorm on the way forward, including plans of evacuation. A list of our students was compiled to facilitate a government-facilitated evacuation. And this information of a possible evacuation was conveyed to the students through our relevant diplomatic missions, also through our honorary consul resident in Kiev, and also the student leaders to prepare them for the exercise. Having assessed the situation, the students commenced movement by road to the various borders where officials of Ghana's relevant diplomatic missions and honorary consuls are on standby to facilitate their passage into countries such as Romania, Poland, and Hungary. We need to appreciate the fact that coordinating evacuations in a vast country such as Ukraine with students and Ghanaians spread all over the country comes with difficulties, especially with restricted movement due to curfews and lockdowns. Officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration have held productive meetings with diplomats of the Russian and Turkish embassies in Accra to discuss the pathway to an incident-free evacuation exercise. Just this morning, I spoke to an official of the Ukrainian embassy in Abuja. They have concurrent accreditation to Ghana. And I told them about the difficulties some of our compatriots, especially the male students, are facing in their attempt to cross into neighboring countries. Both meetings resulted in an agreement to facilitate passage of our compatriots should the need arise. Other meetings were held with officials of the Scholarship Secretariat and a Ghanaian security institution, all in a bid to promote multi-stakeholder engagement towards a successful evacuation of our people. The ministry has requested 5 European countries bordering Ukraine, and they are Moldova, Poland, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia, to facilitate easy passage into their countries by our citizens. Fortunately, the government of Moldova has officially indicated its willingness to facilitate the passage of foreign nationals based on a structured exercise. Steps are being taken to secure the contact numbers of parents or guardians of our students to enable the ministry to engage them as we seek to ensure the safety of our compatriots and allay their fears. Let me say that we will be meeting. We've sent out, Matilda, have we sent out the notice, a general notice out to parents and guardians of all the students to meet us at the Accra International Conference Center on Tuesday at 1 o'clock, so we can have some engagement with them. Let me also say that some of the concrete outcomes include the dispatch of officials from our missions to various border countries to assist our people when they cross into neighboring countries. Due to the effective collaboration with the Hungarian authorities, the government of Ghana has secured passage through Hungary on a visa-free basis for Ghanaian students who are in possession of Ghanaian passports. We are told the Hungarian government is also providing coordinated assistance to enable our nationals reach airports in Budapest or Debrecen. The government of Ghana is grateful to the Hungarian government. This effective collaboration has also led to the Romanian government according us a warm reception. As is the case in humanitarian exercises, women and children have been given priority. The government of Ghana is equally grateful to the government of Romania for its philanthropic gesture. Indeed, the goodwill displayed by these friendly countries is a testament to the sound bilateral relations that exist between us and also the goodwill that Ghana enjoys among the Committee of Nations. We call on other friendly nations to extend similar assistance to our compatriots. So far, official information indicates the following. As at midday, today, 27th of February, information gathered was that about over 460 students have left Ukraine en route to Poland, Hungary, Romania, Slovakia, and Czech Republic. The students will be received by officials of our diplomatic missions, honorary consuls, and officials of the students' union or associations. We are pleased to provide the breakdown of those who have exited Ukraine as follows. 132 have arrived in Bucharest, Romania, and our officer on the ground is preparing tickets for some of them to leave tomorrow to Accra. Reason why I say some of them is because the distance between the holding area and the city itself is, I'm told, over 500 kilometers. Am I correct? And so some of them are on their way to the city. At the moment, he has with him 24 of them who are at the airport, and he's trying to get them on Qatar Airways to Accra. Some are being processed at the holding area, and I'm told about 60 of them are going through border formalities. So they're on the other side of the Ukraine border, going through border formalities to get into Romania. 38, having crossed into Poland, are with our officials. We are currently also making arrangements for those who are willing to be assisted to get on flights. 25 persons en route to Prague from Slovakia were assisted by the honorary consul and will be received on entry by the mission in Prague. 25 just this morning arrived in Hungary and are being sheltered at the Pentecostal Church in Budapest. 85 of our compatriots are being assisted by our embassy in Moscow to cross the border town of Sumy into Russia, which I indicated earlier is creating or pose serious difficulties. The crossing is quite a difficult task at the moment. Our officials from the Moscow embassy are doing all they can to get them to cross so that we can also assist them onto flights to Accra. These numbers are bound to increase in a few days as we observe the team spirit being displayed by our people, our citizens, our students. They are reaching out to each other, setting up group WhatsApp chats, sharing important phone numbers of consular officers and other personalities who could be of assistance, and also the cascading effects of the initiatives. A most gratifying and heartwarming message, such as "we are safe now," I've received several, could not have come at a better time. We hope for better days as the ministry further engages our diplomatic missions and honorary consulates to extend consular assistance to our compatriots. Ghana has also put in place the necessary package to facilitate transportation, accommodation, feeding, medical support, flights, etc., to ease any burden on our people. With all the collaborative efforts, I'm pleased to inform you that a good number, over 220 of our compatriots, have exited Ukraine and should be with us in Ghana soon, and we are earnestly facilitating the safe return of a lot more. We wish to use this platform to debunk the unsubstantiated reports, such as alleging that a bus or a train conveying some Ghanaians to the eastern part of Ukraine was shot at. These are delicate times. Let us all endeavor to steer clear of sensationalism and unconfirmed reports. These only serve to heighten tensions at these times. We have parents, family, and friends of these students, of Ghanaians, who are stuck in a war situation. And the least we can do is not to play politics or to be sensational with news that is not confirmed. It's just not right. It is not right. It is not right. We must stop it. This is such a sensitive matter. I can assure you that our diplomatic missions in Bern, Ankara, Prague, Moscow, and the Vatican are working around the clock in a coordinated manner to secure the safety at all times of our citizens and our evacuation and their evacuation. I have ordered, as I said earlier, the dispatch of officers of some of our diplomatic missions to meet with our citizens who are being evacuated to facilitate the processes and handle any outstanding challenges. Together we can do this, I assure you. Let me say that our officials are not on the Ukraine side of the border, but they are waiting at the receiving end of the countries. So countries such as Hungary, Slovakia, Poland, Hungary, our officials are there. And those who have been able to cross are in the custody, so to speak, of our officials. Let me say that the frustration for many of the students is the fact that there's so many thousands of people trying to cross over into these countries, and therefore, in some cases, it's taking them a couple of days, 3 days even, in the bad weather to be able to cross, go through the formalities to cross into the countries where they can then be assisted. I'd use this medium to express gratitude to our missions and our honorary consuls who are working closely with the ministry to ensure the desired outcomes. I'd also like to thank all those who have offered various forms of assistance. We have religious bodies and student groups. They are all working together with government in an outstanding demonstration of support for a cause which requires a wholehearted commitment and the fact that it is necessary for us to show unity of purpose. Thank you for your attention, and I'll now accept questions.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now take your questions, but before then, I saw a few questions on social media, so we will start with those, and then I'll come to you for your questions. We can take 3 sets of questions. You can ask maximum 2 questions at a time. So when the microphone is brought to you, you mention your name and media house and then proceed to ask your question. Honorable Minister, there was a question on our Facebook which says there are some speculation about neighboring countries not allowing blacks to cross. Is that issue true? Is it something that can be verified? And if yes, what are African leaders doing about such a situation? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll now take your questions. Please, if you have any question, okay, we'll take 4 at a time. So we will take 1, 2, and I can see the lady at the back. Okay. And then we'll take the 4th question. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so the gentleman in blue and the gentleman in the Lacoste, and then you take the 2 at the back.
Yes, please, my name is Emmanuel Bonnie. I'm from the Daily Graphic. I want to find out from the Honorable Minister, the meeting with the parents on Tuesday. I mean, if she can share with us the broad areas that the meeting will center on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. That was a commendable update. My name is Brightfield Donko, and I report for the Daily Statesman. Since Ghana is a member of the non-aligned movement, and as such, we condemn such conflict, I would like to ask, what is Ghana doing so far as diplomacy and an intervention to ease the ongoing conflict and then general insecurity among these 2 countries?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Boama. So you take the 2 at the back, yes.
Okay, my name is Duke. I work with Duke Ments. I work with Citi, FM and TV. There are those who are of the view that the tensions have been simmering for a while now. Some will say weeks and months. And looking at how the situation has evolved, has the government been proactive in terms of protecting the number of Ghanaians who have chosen, especially Ukraine, as a destination of choice for the study of medicine particularly? And then secondly, over the last 2 parliamentary sitting days, or 2 days, the 2 last sitting days in Parliament, members of Parliament, I would say, made various calls for the minister to brief the House as representatives of the people on steps being taken. Has this come to her attention, and when does she intend to do that? Thank you.
Okay, we'll take the last question at the back.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Harriet Nate. I host Diplomatic Affairs on Pan-African Television. I have a question for myself. That is, I am just wondering why we did not take advanced steps in getting Ghanaians in Ukraine to get out of Ukraine before the incident or the issue escalated. And then I have one more from this platform, which is how many Ghanaians are officially in Ukraine, and are there plans by government to evacuate all of them? How many have so far been evacuated, and where are they currently? So this is a question that was put on the platform. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the question. That's the first set of questions, but I think most of the things that you are asking about were already addressed in the Honorable Minister's presentation. For instance, if you talk about proactive steps, the Honorable Minister mentioned that because Ghana is a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, they had already taken some steps to ensure that the conflict did not take place. But as it's escalated, they've made sure that the diplomatic mission abroad are at the various neighboring countries to receive Ghanaians and make sure they are safely evacuated back home. But I will call on the Honorable Minister to address the others.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. One question was asked about speculations that neighboring countries are not allowing Africans to cross, and what the African leaders are doing about it. This is information that has just come to our attention. We need to cross-check. We need to confirm or otherwise whether indeed this is the case. So far, the people, which I'm a question that, or a situation that has come to my notice, where people are saying that some students, male students who tried to exit Ukraine were stopped and asked to go and fight. Because as we are all aware, men who are over 18, between 18 and 60, are not allowed to leave Ukraine. These are Ukrainians, citizens of Ukraine. The rest of them are willing to come back, to bring them back. The meeting with the parents is at 10 a.m. Sorry, I said 1. It's at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And it's basically for them to allay their fears, tell them what so far we have done. We have a full list of students, over 945. And if there are any parents who have children who probably are not on our list, that would be a great opportunity for us to add on, and also as and when we are taking off those who have come, and so on and so forth. So we want to have that dialogue with them. And of course, they are all, many of them would probably have the wherewithal to pay their way back. And those who, we will pay for those who do not, cannot afford a ticket back. But many would be able to afford, so we will be able to separate those and then do what is necessary. So these are all issues that we need to engage the parents, guardians on. You did say that Ghana is a member of a non-aligned movement, correct? What are we doing to ease the situation? Fortunately for Ghana, we are at the Security Council, and we have made statements, and in all our statements, we have called for dialogue. We have called for peace. We have called and cautioned against the humanitarian situation and what difficulties and it can bring to ordinary citizens of Ukraine, also with our own people in mind who are there. So I'm not sure why you mentioned non-aligned movement and you're asking at the same time, because the whole essence of a non-aligned movement is not to be aligned, but then at the same time you're asking what we have done. But yes, tensions simmering for a while, and you're saying that looking at the situation, I have here a lot of correspondence from our Honorary Consul, from our mission in Bern. Mission in Bern about a week or so ago, and a week or so ago, if you pay attention to the international media, you find that, I mean, what everybody is saying is the fact that a week ago, even days ago, nobody ever thought that we would get to this point. It all pointed to the fact that there will be dialogue, there will be negotiation, that parties will sit at the table and negotiate. Nobody thought that we would get here. Unfortunately, this is where we are. But I can tell you that a week or so ago, our mission advised, and it is in a correspondence that I have, that the mission advised that those who can to get out as quickly as possible. There was also a situational report on the ground in Kyiv, where our honorary consul was telling the students as we went along that stay safe, stay in your hostels, try and get your few, whatever it is that you need, and stay safe. Don't go out unless it is extremely. So every step along the way, there was advice going out to our compatriots. If you can't get out, if you cannot, stay safe. Now that it is not safe anymore, we are providing buses and so on and so forth. So it's not like we have been just sitting back watching, but we have been proactive. And it is even at that point that we were working with the student associations. They were sending us a list of all the students who are there. Let me take this opportunity. I'm probably talking too much, but I think it is important. Many students go outside the country to study, and they do not even bother to be part of any group, any association, or to register with our missions. Any citizen of Ghana who leaves the shores of Ghana must register, so that when there is a situation like this, immediately you can be reached and you can be accounted for. Unfortunately, they don't. Many of them didn't even bother. Fortunately, many are with associations, student associations and the NUG, so we've been able to work with these groups to get them. But otherwise, it is difficult. And we keep saying this over and over again, and nobody pays any heed to it. The parliament, when they want you to appear before the plenary, would send you a notice of questions. And we haven't received it, at least as at today I was in the office. We haven't received, I don't have any such question, but I'm very willing from after today to appear before the House. And I could go there myself and request to brief the House. And that is something also that is available to me. I don't mind doing it. I just want us to see a few arrivals and get enough concrete information that I can give to Parliament when I appear before them. How many Ghanaians in Ukraine, and what plans to evacuate? Like I said, the plans is what I have outlined in my statement. The how many Ghanaians, it is difficult to say. We can account for the students and those who are part of associations. And I'm sure you can understand the fact that if there are any Ghanaians there who are not there legally, they most likely will go underground rather than avail themselves to be evacuated. I'm not sure, but that's also a possibility. Thank you.
So we'll take the last but one set of questions. So, okay, we'll take all five. I can see 1, 2, 3, and then, okay. So, so we'll take 3 from here and take the last 2, and I'll come to you in the last round, please. So please, you can start from the gentleman in front.
Good afternoon. My name is Shalom Gwabiji from the Finder newspaper.
Please, we can't hear you. Can you
My name is Shalom Gwabiji from the Finder newspaper.
Okay.
Madam Minister, you make the claim that nobody knew that the situation would escalate. But I have an article here from CBS News, where on the 25th of January, Joe Biden addressed the American people and warned that a Russian attack on Ukraine is imminent. So how can you then stand before us and claim that nobody knew that this would be the situation, when there were warnings being given by other nations to their citizens? Second, you claim also that we do not know, or it would be difficult to tell how many Ghanaians are in Ukraine. Probably, yes, the illegally resident ones. But do you not have an official number of people of Ghanaian heritage living in the Ukraine? Do we not have that from the embassy? Can we not tell specifically?
He said the official number that the embassy has. Okay.
Not just Ghanaian students, Ghanaian citizens who are in Ukraine.
Thank you so much. My name is Musa Lansa with GH1 TV. Honorable Minister, in your presentation, you made a statement. I need clarifications. You made a statement that the males were having challenges, the men were having challenges in the evacuation process. What is the challenge they are facing? If you can bring some clarity to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The name is Justice Lee Adoboy. I work for the Xinhua News Agency. Honorable
Please.
Minister, the name is
We
Justice
can hardly hear you.
Adoboy.
Justice, okay.
Yes, Xinhua News Agency. Honorable, you agree with me that Ghana equally has a very cordial relationship with Russia, and I believe also that their embassy is right here in Accra. I would like to know what direct engagements we have had with them in terms of maybe getting assurances about the safety of our people crossing over to their territory in case there is a war. And also, part of the statement condemned the action Russia has taken against Ukraine. But Russia also claims that some of its Russian-speaking people in Ukraine have been under oppression, as they describe it, from the Ukrainian government. When these things were happening, what had been our role in trying to find a lasting or a peaceful solution to it to prevent what we are witnessing now? Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take the two at the back and then come for the last round.
Yes. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Some security experts are saying that we must find the root cause of the war instead of trying to condemn Russia outright, because they may have their reasons, apprehensions, and fears for doing what they are doing, even though it is not tenable, it is not acceptable. But instead of attacking them, why don't you go to the root cause of this conflict? Because they have been angered, especially they have been angered by NATO actions in Ukraine and other neighboring countries. My second question, they're also saying that if you are not careful with our utterances and actions, it may trigger war, because it took Germany to attack Poland to bring the whole world under the brink of Second World War. So in our deliberations, our discussions, we must also tone down so that tempers will come down, instead of trying to scold them and do all kinds of attacks. Because now there are some countries, very powerful countries, supporting Russia. North Korea, Pakistan, China, and co. against the NATO countries. So we must be very careful in our deliberations. Otherwise, it must also trigger maybe a third world war. What's your reaction on that assertion?
Thank you, Nana. We'll take Kafui's question.
My name is Kafui Day from Ghana Television. So last Friday, Ghana voted yes on a UN Security Council resolution demanding that Russia immediately stop its attack on Ukraine and withdraw all troops. What are Ghana's guiding foreign policy principles that made us vote the way we did last Friday. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Please, I beg you, some of the questions is as if when the Honorable Minister was making the presentation, you were not following. Because, you know, geopolitics is quite complicated, but the Minister has reiterated the message that our representative at the Security Council, Ambassador Harold Ajiman, has already been saying. We are against conflict. We are pro-dialogue and peace. So Ghana's efforts at the UNSC at all levels is to ensure that no more missiles, no violence, and they go back to the negotiation table to talk and find amicable ways of resolving the situation. So the issue about finding the root cause and all that immediately is not the point here. The point is to make sure the bloodshed stops and the conflict stops, and then they go for dialogue. So I'll go to the Honorable Minister. We'll come back for the last round, so let's go for the Honorable Minister's response.
Thank you very much. I did say, and I stand by it, that a week ago, the world did not think that we'll get to this point. You are saying that it was predicted by, is it a radio station or a newspaper? We were looking at what was happening on the ground, not what a radio station or a newspaper said. We were looking and monitoring what was happening at the UN Security Council, where dialogue was being called for. We were monitoring the overtures being made by both sides and others calling for dialogue, and at every given time it seemed like that was going to work. And if you listen to international media, they're also saying the same thing, that nobody thought that we'll get to this point. So, yes, maybe that media house predicted, but I'm telling you that from what was happening on the ground, it was not expected. That's all I can say there. Do you have an official number, as in the embassy, the consulate? I went to great lengths to say that those who travel out of the country, who make themselves available, who give their information, we have it. There is no way that any embassy of any country will know the number of its citizens unless the citizens make themselves available and let them know that we are here. We are in London, we are in Manchester, we are in Kyiv, we are in Lviv. If they don't make themselves available and to tell you, you would never know. And that's why I said that it's in situations like this that you get to know the importance of that. So we do not have an exact number of Ghanaians who are there. We wish we could. We wish we did. But that's not the case. Even with students, it is only through this exercise that we are able to get the student list, the full student list. The males, I said that some males are rumored to be having challenges. I explained it. These are just rumors. Some males in crossing, it is rumored, are having challenges. So far, I have not had any confirmation of this. But I thought I should mention it because we are all hearing this without any confirmation. And yet at the same time, we are getting our students crossing over. And the only reason why it's taking time is because of the sheer numbers of people who are trying to cross over. Yes, we do have very cordial relations with Russia. Russia is a country we very much appreciate, and we value the strong relations that exist between our two countries. As soon as this thing started unfolding, we invited the Russian ambassador to the ministry. We had very cordial engagements with him, interaction with him. He assured us that our students will be safe. Our preoccupation in all of this is the citizens of Ghana and nothing else. Yes, we are part of a committee of nations, and therefore what happens elsewhere should be of concern to us. But when this started unfolding, we had our first responsibility was to the Ghanaian citizens, and we had a very fruitful discussion with the Russian ambassador, who assured us that they will do all they can to enable our students crossover. What role did we play to prevent what we are witnessing? God has been so good to us. We are a member of the Security Council. We made statements, and if you were you are paying attention to this whole thing, you realize that it's about dialogue. We called for dialogue. We warned about the humanitarian consequences of this. We were talking about safety and security of all citizens, especially our citizens. These are the things that you can talk about. We encourage dialogue and peaceful resolution of the differences. So, yes, we have done our part like any of the big powers. They can go further than that. What we can do is what we did. We need to look at the root cause. Well, that is at the different levels of engagement, and in this case, we all belong to the United Nations General Assembly. Will meet the UN Security Council has met on several occasions. I think that the call for them to look at the root causes is a good call, sorry. And so that's probably what they should be looking at, and I hope that they will. I'm sure that they've taken all of that into consideration. Let's tone down instead of scolding. Nobody is scolding. We are interested in the safety of our citizens, the humanitarian issues that come about, and also the fact that sovereignty of a nation is sovereignty of a nation. And the intrusion into your sovereignty, whatever the cause, is something that the world should not encourage. Can you imagine if one day, because of something we are doing, another country that is close to us decides, a bigger country tries to invade this country? How would we feel when, whatever it is, in diplomacy, the number one tool is negotiation, the number one tool is dialogue, finding peaceful solutions to problems. And so that is what we are calling for. That is what we continue to call for. And that is what the world should always call for. Even countries that feel aggrieved over certain issues.
Will be kind enough to come and assist us. Okay, the Honorable Minister says 53 people have entered Poland. So that's it. I've been signaled that. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Honorable Minister, thank you for honoring our invitation, and we hope to meet some other time. Good afternoon.